Hello! Welcome to episode 3 of Lessons from a Sixth Line. I'm sorry, this is definitely impromptu, so I apologize for not announcing in advance. I usually like to do that, but things have been a whirlwind, and what I want to talk about today it's just so fresh and dear in my heart that I wanted to just go with it right now. And I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to be watching the time today. But welcome to Lessons from a Sixth Line. This is our February edition, and in this series, I'm sharing from my role model profile. So as a role model, a line 6 in human design, we are really called to share through our personal experience. And I just got off my honeymoon. I'm gonna make sure that I'm keeping track of anyone that comes in. I just got off my honeymoon, and so much came through for me. So much. Not only was it the most magnificent time of my life, the greatest trip of my life, the most romantic experience of my life. I literally cried, guys. Like, I'm one of those, I'm like a little bit of a homebody, so I'm always happy to go home. I love traveling, I love going on vacation, but I'm always happy to come home. I cried on the last day, and then the last quarter of our flight, it's a 16-hour flight. We went to Cape Town, South Africa. On the last quarter, I just cried. And then I watched a movie, it was sad. I cried. Anyways, absolutely magnificent experience, my honeymoon. And so much came through for me. And this is one of the things that really struck me on this trip. So this episode is called The Hidden Treasure in Acceptance. So I'm going to share from you my personal experience of what happened to me, or how I have developed an even deeper relationship with time. I've been on this journey with time and understanding how non-linear it is, and like, what is time? How do we interact with that? How do we manifest? What role does time play in manifestation? And something big came through for me. So the thing that I noticed from this trip is when things are moving slowly, when things are going slow, it feels slow. And when things are moving fast, it feels fast. Okay, so I know that sounds super duh, but just stick with me here, okay? So before I went on my honeymoon, I got sick. And then I got sick again, and then I got sicker. So I ended up being really sick before I went on my honeymoon for like over a month. And I ended up being like off of work for something like 2 weeks. And I was only back to work for maybe 3 days before I was going to be off again for 2 weeks to go on my honeymoon. So those 3 days that I went back to work, like the day that I went back, I was exhausted. Like, it felt very effortful. My body just couldn't like quite keep up. Like, I needed to really effort it, you know? And I remember I felt like, my God, I just want to be slow. Like, I'm really looking forward to getting through this 3-day week so that I can be slow. Like, I just need to just slow down and just have time and just breathe, right? So I go on my honeymoon now, and after maybe the first day and a half, 2 days max, I would say, I felt pretty much back to myself. I had been like slowly getting better. I went back to work when I was like a little bit better, but not quite. By arrival and like a day after, I felt pretty much back to myself. And shocker, as soon as like I felt back to myself, I was like, okay, I felt this energy, this urge, like my route, I have a defined route. Like I felt the pressure come in of like, well, you're supposed to be doing something. I'm on my honeymoon, right? So this is a time of 2 weeks of just doing nothing but having the time of my life with my husband, right? Pure relaxation, pure luxury, pure romance. And I'm like, okay, but I need to like, I need to be like, there's posts that I need to write. I need to, I'm working on certain projects and there's things I need to send these emails. Like there's all these things that I need to be working on, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I need to do that. But I couldn't wait to relax, like have things be slow 3 days ago. And now I'm wanting everything to be fast again. Like I need to, let's get moving. And it really struck me. I caught myself and I was like, wow, 3 days ago, you felt very different and you wanted to be in a different state. Here you are now, and yet again, you'd like to be in a different state. So I decided to surrender and move through this with curiosity and see what happened. I felt that pressure really coming at me for like 2 days, and then it eased. So I really surrendered to like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not feeling any pressure. There's nothing I have to do other than enjoy myself. There's nothing to do. And it went away. And I sunk into this place of deep presence and absolute enjoyment, awareness, such a surrender. And the most amazing things started to happen in that place of slowness. It seems like, wow, so exciting, go on vacation, have this, I can't wait to do nothing. And then in that nothingness, in that no demand space, this drive, this go, go, go drive that I'm so used to, it felt odd. It felt odd to like 2 weeks, maybe 1 week, but 2 weeks, of just really not doing anything. Surrendered into it. Such beautiful things started manifesting through that. One, I had this really fun time with my stories. The way that I shared, I just decided to just be creative and just share through my intuition, whatever came up. And I had a lot of fun. I had some really special interactions through that. What I experienced with my husband, the level of intimacy that and I don't mean this in a risque way, mind you, that was also fantastic. But I mean, the level of intimacy that I was able to reach, there's so many intangible and very tangible things. I started getting emails, because I'm not advertising anything. I'm not putting out any calls to action or anything like that. And people reaching out to me and booking client calls, readings, while I did nothing except really enjoy myself and be present. So it really, I'm looking down here because I have my notes here and I don't want to miss anything. But it really struck me that maybe it's not about getting to another state. Maybe it's about this whole presence thing that all the gurus have been talking about from the beginning of time. Like maybe they're freaking onto something here. I feel like oftentimes in the manifestation world, in the manifestation realm, can be a lot of pressure. How to manifest faster, how to get what you want faster, how to get the man faster, how to get the $1 million faster. There's constantly like this push and this movement of like faster, better, like get there now, tomorrow, here. But maybe the question really, and a different, that's why I said the hidden treasure in acceptance, because I think I stumbled upon a treasure. Maybe one of the manifestation keys is actually a pure acceptance of the state that we're in. And maybe the question is, what am I being called to right now? No matter where you're at. So I think that this awareness that I came to, like, was led up to from me being sick. So I got so sick. Like, I was very ill. I haven't been on antibiotics, I think, in at least maybe 10 years. I had to go on antibiotics because I got this disgusting throat infection on top of having COVID. I got so sick, and the surrender was demanded of me at that point. I felt so unwell. And in that, I had the question of, okay, I'm so sick right now, so out of my normal. I'm being called to something. I'm definitely being called to something of surrender. But I didn't have the answer to what I was being called to, but I had an awareness that this surrender was required. And it made me think of the question of, what am I being called to? But what if that's always the question? Not even when it's something so out of your normal, like being way sicker than you've ever been, or like when something super terrible happens. Maybe that's the question all the time. So when I said, when things are moving slow, it feels slow. And when things are moving fast, it feels fast. I mean it literally. So when things are slow, it feels slow in our body. But when you're in a fast mode, like when I went back to work and things were being demanded of me and I wasn't quite myself, and it was 3 days and I was just like, I wish I could slow down. What I was looking to feel was ease, better, good. I was looking to feel good. And when you're in a slow mode, or things aren't coming in, so for example, in your business, and you want an influx of clients to come in, you're like, let's go, like, let's pick this up. I want it to, I want to feel, you want to feel like driven, you want to feel confident, you want to feel recognized, you want to feel like that's what you're thinking this feels. But when those clients come in, how often are we like, whoa, oh my God, there's so many clients. Okay, so I have to respond. Wow, I have 50 emails that I need to respond to. Okay, that's a lot. So when it's moving fast, it feels fast. Not necessarily good or whatever it is that you thought it was going to feel. And it's the same thing in reverse. So when we're in a slow mode, it feels slow, not necessarily relaxing, good. All of those experiences had to be a choice. So when I went on my honeymoon, and within 2 days was feeling back to myself, and then that pressure kicked in where I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I really should be doing something. I know I'm supposed to be having fun, but I feel like I need to be doing something. My consciousness, like my higher self, is the part that had to say, okay, whoa, hold up a minute. I need to make the decision that this slow feels good. It didn't automatically feel good. And it's going to be the same thing that we're in a fast mode. Your consciousness, your self-awareness, your true self is the part that steps out and says, this is good. I love having lots of clients. I am so happy to be in such demand. This is an excellent sign of all the work that I've put in, and I'm manifesting my dreams. Or it can just be another thing to complain about, or just feeling fast. So that was the conscious choice. The slow felt slow, and fast felt fast, period. Everything else was my choice. So I had to step in and choose that this being slow, hi Sid! This being slow is a good thing, and I'm gonna lean into this and see what happens. So I feel like Eckhart Tolle is probably, in terms of a foundation, his teachings on presence is like really, I felt it sink in, really true for me, become really something that I understood deeply. Because I could have within a matter of 2 weeks, found myself wishing to be in a different state, manifest that new state, and then wish to be in the other state. How often do we do that? All the time. So is it really about, can we do it faster? How do I manifest faster? How do I get that faster? And then when you're there, how do I get it slower? How do we get it slower? Is it always about being in a different state? And don't get me wrong, it's not like we don't have interim periods where things are like just really even, but truly, how often does that happen? How often do we find ourselves, whatever the state is that we're in, we want to be in something different? So when I was sick and I was like, oh, I can't keep up, I just need to be slow. I'm on vacation, I get better, and it's like, oh, I need to be doing something. Really? Hold a minute. So in that question, what am I being called to? In whatever state that I'm in, it showed me that my manifestation, my ability to manifest, my power in manifestation had nothing to do with being somewhere else, being at a different level, being anywhere other than exactly where I am, and leaning into what is available. It's almost like, I was talking to my mom and my sibling yesterday about this, and I was like, it's almost like you're waiting for a phone call that's not coming, instead of answering the call that's coming. So your phone's ringing and you're ignoring the phone, but you're waiting for a future phone call from God knows whoever, so you won't answer this one. What am I being called to right now? So when I slowed down and just sunk into this vacation mode, this pure vacation mode, like I could cry right now in terms of I experienced bliss. I experienced bliss. On top of the things that I already said that manifested throughout it, I experienced bliss. Like, who's to say that some of my greatest manifestations don't come from that emotional state? Who's to say that whatever state that you're in, some of your greatest manifestations are to come? But if you're trying to be somewhere that you're not, if we're trying to constantly be in a different state than we're in, how do you milk where you are? How do you even know what's supposed to come from where you are? So one of my favorite mantras or affirmations is, the universe is always conspiring in my favor. So what if, and this is something that I heard from a Melanie and their masterclass recently, and it really clicked in for me now. So what if, instead of wondering when something happens, whatever state you're in, whether you're in a place of discomfort, whether you're in a place of true difficulty, you're experiencing a lot of contrast in your life, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? If we could get off of the why, and I'm a believer in everything happens for a reason. I am a believer in that. But I think part of the problem with us who do believe in that is that sometimes we get so caught up in that everything is happening for a reason, we try to figure out the reason now. What if you're not meant to know the reason now? What if you trust everything is happening for a reason and the reason will come to you? Maybe the reason is a person you're supposed to meet 4 months later. Maybe the reason is not something until you're 100 years old. You don't know. But if I believe that the universe is always conspiring in my favor, this is the thing that Melanie and Blair said. What if the question is, instead of why this is happening, it's, if this is happening for me, what now? So wherever we are, if this is happening for you, just believe in the premise. So I've decided. The premise is, at all times, it's not a thing I question. I have decided the universe is always conspiring in my favor. Therefore, this is happening for me. So the question is, if this is happening for me, what now? And when I sunk into that, the what now was the most beautiful 2 weeks of my life. The what now was apparently signing new clients. The what now was apparently having new readings to do. The what now was, I can't tell you guys, but something very exciting is coming. I'm working on a project, and a lot of things became solidified in that 2 weeks of lying at a beach, of getting massages, of hanging in the pool, of going to vineyards and doing wine tastings, all of that, not doing stuff. If that was happening for me, what now was some of the most exciting things to come in my life. And yes, I know that I'm using this as an example of when I was doing, something really luxurious and fun. But the key here from the beginning, when I said, was that I was sick, wanted to slowed down, and then wanted to speed up. I could have not questioned myself at all. And if I had told anybody, called a friend and just been like, oh, I know I'm on vacation for 2 weeks, but there's so many things I need to do in my business, blah, blah, blah. Everyone would say like, oh my God, I totally get it. I know. But no. What if it's about what you're being called to in every single moment? So if we go back to the very beginning of this, when I said the very simple statement that can sound like a total duh. When things are moving slow, they feel slow. Slow feels slow. It doesn't necessarily feel good unless you decide it's good. And when things are moving fast, it feels fast. Not necessarily exciting, fantastic, unless you decide it gets to be. So how can we use our consciousness in every moment, in full acceptance of whatever is in front of us at that time? Basically, you've been served a manifestation dish. Maybe the first level of manifesting, the first gear, the first door to unlock in manifestation is the dish you were served in front of you. What do you do with it? Rather than trying to get to the next course. I hope this all made a lot of sense to everyone. It was such a profound awareness for me, and it really solidified this relationship that I've been on with time. This rushing into things, this always needing to be faster, this always, how do you manifest this faster? How do you manifest this faster? Whether this is an unpopular belief or not, I am starting to realize that in and of itself is screwing up our manifestation. What if you have exactly what you need right now? And it's about where you are right now and what you're getting from it. What are you missing? What are we missing from the mode we're in now? Because the next mode might not be what you think it is. Fast might not feel like what you think it does. Slow might not feel like what you think it does. At least for me, that has not been the case. I don't actually know what anything really feels like till I freaking get there. So this entire prediction of I need to be here so that blank, you don't actually know that. So what am I going to do it here? What are we all going to do it here? How do we milk here and become manifestation queens and kings in where we are? I love you all. Thank you for joining me and jumping in today. I'm sorry again that this was impromptu. I promise I will tell you about the next one in advance. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I do have to run, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this, your comments. Tell me if you think that's total BS. Tell me if you think that was profound. I want to hear it all. I love you. I'm so excited for all that's to come, and let's keep manifesting. Ciao!